Okay, and we are live. Hi, guys. Glad to see you joining us today to talk about Starknet ecosystem, introduction to Starknet, actually. So we will be talking about the technology and all the milestones that were reached on the roadmap of the project and what will be actually reached, because we are really keen to explore this ecosystem with you and share some insights that we find. So today I'm with Ivan, who is a general partner of 3x Capital, and me myself, Petro, who is a senior analyst. We will be talking about Starknet, and we'll be curious, guys, to hear your comments, questions that you will ask us in the chat. We'll be covering everything together with you. And the agenda for today will be that we will start with the presentation that we prepared about Starknet, and in the end, Ivan will cover topic of 2 wallets that are working on Starknet right now, and will show how you actually can interact with the network and be able to understand how everything is structured. So without hesitation, I will start presenting my screen and go through the presentation. And we'll ask you, Ivan, to look through the comments. When you will see any questions, feel free to interrupt me, and we will cover them.
Sure. Greetings, everyone.
Great. The presentation should be visible. And as you see from the name, it is called Introduction to Starknet. And last week we were talking about zero-knowledge rollups and covering details about them. And right now we will focus on, in my opinion, the biggest and the most perspective ZK rollup at the moment that we have, called Starknet. And Starknet blockchain is actually a ZK rollup built using Stark cryptographic proof. We know that currently we have 2 different ZK proofs, Snarks and Starks. So actually, the main difference between them is that Starks are more scalable, and they don't require the setup, the trusted setup, and they cannot be hacked through this setup. So in terms of security and scalability, Stark cryptographic proof looks having more advantage. But the problem with Stark right now is that currently there are not so many developers, not so much data to be able to build on Stark such fast as you can build on Snark cryptographic proof. What is also different for Starknet is that they are using Quiro programming language, and they are not EVM compatible. So the smart contracts that are building on Starknet are not compatible with Ethereum and the other EVM chains. But the infrastructure and communication between layer 2, which is the Starknet, and layer 1 messaging protocol, which is Ethereum, is available, and the contracts are actually fully composable. So what you can do, you can use an official bridge to be able to bridge from Ethereum to Starknet and actually use the ecosystem that is already live. From the numbers below, you can see that current total value locked, which is the value of assets locked in different protocols on Starknet network, is standing at 139 million, and is growing monthly for 3.7%. TPS, which is transaction per second, currently is a bit low, and we will cover why and what are the further milestones to increase the TPS, but it's standing at 4.5 transaction per second currently. And the stage, which is the stage of development mainly tied to decentralization, is 0 here. And it means that currently there is a company that is responsible for managing the sequencer, which is gathering transaction together and sending them to layer 1, to Ethereum. And this company is actually the company that created Starknet, called Starkware. And to increase the stage of decentralization, project is already working on governance and some other activities that will be introduced this and next quarter. Then looking into technology, few differentiators that we have between other rollups like Optimistic and ZK rollups built on EVM. The main one is that Starknet contracts are actually built on Kiro, right? They have own operating system and generating Stark proving general computation, meaning that it has connection with Ethereum, but it has no direct compatibility with Ethereum smart contracts. Then we have another feature called Prover, which actually allows to build different chains on top of Starknet. So, for example, you know the feature called StarkX, which allow you to build app chain, which is the chain created for a specific purpose. And if you were using a protocol called DYDX, it was actually built on StarkX back in the past. So we see that this prover settled more than 400 million transactions for all app chains that were built in the past, and more than $1 trillion in volume on Ethereum market. And then we have the third part called verifier. And these verifiers were deployed on Ethereum mainnet since 2019, even before the launch of Starknet mainnet. And it's actually allows you to verify the batch of transactions to show that they are legit and send them back to Ethereum layer 1 network, having the security of mainnet that we have for all rollups working with us. Then there is a good illustration from L2Bit that we find to show you how it actually works and what is Starknet Stack about. So we touched a concept of Starknet app chains, which are like instances of Starknet that are created for a specific protocol or specific application. And to create these app chains, the Starknet stack is used. For example, if you aware of chains like Base that was launched recently by the Coinbase team of big exchange out of United States, Base actually was launched on top of Optimism stack, which was the Optimism stack created by the team behind, by the developers behind Optimism. So Starknet doing something similar, but for app chains and protocols that are created specifically for different applications. So here you see how people are interacting with the network. So we do have someone who uses Bridge to deposit into the network, but also we have someone who already has balance and trying to send a message to another user on L2. The message is just a simple transaction with any asset that you want to send to another wallet. Then we have sequencer that is updating the state and trying to batch the transaction into different groups to be able to keep the network scalable. And after these batches of transactions are created, we have the prover, which is called sharp prover, which is verifying the proof and registering it back to layer 1 network, meaning that the groups that were created by sequencer then are registered on the Ethereum to keep the security of the network as you are using the layer 1 blockchain, as you are using the Ethereum. So it means, in simple words, that Starknet is highly secure, and security is as much developed as the security on the Ethereum network. Then the team behind Starknet, and it was developed by a company called Starkware based in Israel. And the rollup Starknet was actually launched in November 2021, but the team was set up in 2019. And what we know right now that they have more than 120 plus members in the team, and 80% of these team members are actually developers who are working into improving the pace of development and adding new features to the Starknet. Then moving forward for investors, And it's an interesting part because what we know that Starkware, as a company behind the project, received funding from top-tier investors from Ethereum Foundation and from Vitalik Buterin himself. So in total, there were more than 280 million raised, and the valuation of latest round was $8 billion. And here we can see that Series D round happened in May 2022, where they raised $100 million, and the funds that were leading the round here were Greenox and Coty Management, but also we saw Sequoia Capital, Paradigm, and Tiger Global Management. What is exciting about the project that they already have a good ecosystem. They already have projects that are live, and you will see it today from Ivan. But they have a concept of decentralization already well developed, because they started these from a few articles wrote back in July 2022, where they introduced the Starknet token and actually created it on Ethereum mainnet. So 10 billion tokens for Starknet were minted actually by Starkware off chain and then deployed on Ethereum to emphasize protocol decentralization. And here from the distribution, you can see that 50% is going to Starkware investors and core contributors, meaning team, developers, advisors, and everyone who's helping helping on development. But then we have 50%, which is distributed for community and growth purposes. So 12% is for grants, then we have 10% for foundation, and other is either unallocated or distributed between community in the future in the form of gas fee rebates or airdrop or program for early supporters, which we will touch a bit later. Traction that we have with Starknet right now, actually, we saw that more than 1 million users breached to the Starknet network through the official breach. And the total value breached in the form of Ethereum is 800,000 tokens, roughly, which is more than $1.6 billion. And users that we have right now, the data was actually taken through from the Explorer, which shows us that it is relevant and it is on-chain analysis, and it shows us that we have 3.4 million accounts created on Starknet. From these accounts, 3.08 million are up to date, and roughly 10% are not updated. And in the form of active accounts, we see that currently we are standing at around 100 to 200 active accounts per day, which is not a high metric, because in comparison we have around 800k active users in Arbitrum, roughly 400k active accounts at zkSync. But back in September, where gas fee was way lower, we saw that they had around 200 to 250k active accounts each day, which is a good metric. So what is needed for Starknet right now is improvement in gas fee costs, because in terms of transaction fees, it's higher than for rollups, highly competitive rollups like Arbitrum, Optimism, and zkSync. But still, the team is working on decreasing these fees in the future. So you can see it here on the roadmap that currently in this quarter, the focus is to work on network stability improvements, because recently in July we saw the update to the mainnet of the project, which increased the transaction per second speed and time to finality. But stability currently is not at 100%. So sometimes you can see that transactions are failing or taking more time to finish. So team is focused on increasing the stability right now. But then in Q1 2024, there is the idea to introduce the new version of the mainnet called V13, which will introduce V3 transactions. The main idea behind it is that you will be able to pay for transaction fees in the form of Starknet token instead of Ethereum token that is used right now. And it will also allow you to have better transactions, better speed of transactions. So in Q1, we can expect that potentially the token of Starknet will be launched, but also the transactions fee will be lower. And then for the future, they are planning to work on fee market for transaction. The fee market that was actually introduced on Ethereum quite recently, where you are able to pay priority fee to your transaction to be completed faster. So similar stuff should be introduced for Starknet. And in the future, it actually depends on the EAP 4844, which is the improvement for Ethereum mainnet called proto-tank sharding, when they will introduce the first step into sharding and decreasing the fees paid for rollups transactions. And when it will be introduced, it will be also integrated into Starknet, and costs for transactions will also decrease dramatically. So you can expect that in the future, you will be able to pay 10 times less for rollups transactions that you are paying right now. And also from their governance website, we were able to find information about the dates of the upgrades that will happen. So we see that in December 11th, 2023, the network stability improvement should go live into mainnet, which is a week earlier than the previous plan of the team. But then in December 2023, they're planning to introduce the 13th version on Go early testnet. And in January 2022, it should be the day when V3 transactions will be launched on mainnet. And currently, it's not agreed and officially published because it's pending governance vote, meaning the token holders in form of investors and team members are actually voting on this proposal, and we will have more information when the voting will end. But what we know on top of that recently Starknet Foundation team launched the initiative to reward early supporters, early community members, and they will have registration form to actually show the support from the users of the network and register for future token rewards. It will be live until 23rd of November, and the decisions on this form will be made in the end of December. So we can expect that by the end of December, we will know users and projects who will receive rewards for doing it. And according to a roadmap, we might expect the launch of the token in January, February, or somewhere at this place. And actually, that's it. Wanted to pass my word to Ivan, to him to look through the ecosystem of Starknet.
Thank you, Petro. It was, as always, great to know more about the new ecosystem. It's a pleasure to have you with us in the meeting. We also have one question from the audience. Could you please provide more information about the competitors of Starknet? I know that we had a session before, I think a week ago, and we briefly discovered the competitors' environment, but can you share your thoughts here as well?
It's a good question, but it's really hard to define direct competitors, because from the technology perspective, Starknet is non-EVM compatible, and they are much highly scalable than the competitors that we have right now. So from one perspective, being non-EVM compatible might be disadvantage, but from the perspective of scaling and having fast transactions, it seems like it's a good way. But if we talk about all rollups that we have right now, optimistic rollups, decay rollups, Actually, layer 2 scaling solutions might be the competitors for Starknet because they are serving the same purpose, scaling Ethereum. So the names that I can figure out here is Arbitrum, Optimism, and zk, which are the main competitors for Starknet right now, mainly due to the number of users that they have on their networks and total value log that is on the network. So in comparison with Starknet, 130 million TVL, we have TVL of several billions for Arbitrum, around billion for Optimism, and roughly $500 million for zk, which is higher than for Starknet. But I always try to think long term, and I remember Vitalik Buterin talking about Zero Labs and Starknet itself. He mentioned that at short term, optimistic rollups might win users due to the cheaper transactions, faster transactions, but long-term future is always for ZK rollups for security, and we might have a shift of users moving from optimistic rollups to ZK rollups during the next market cycle, and I'm really excited about it.
Thank you. That's very interesting. I also believe that the community is a key to success. It's not always about the technology, but it's more about people who will use and benefit from it. So thank you for your insightful session today. Guys, I will continue with the second part of our session that will have and provide a brief overview of two leading wallets on Starknet, Argentex and Bravos. And after this, I will also provide you my insights on the practical things that you can do in order to be one of the early adopters of this amazing technology. So let me start with the introduction of two wallets that are, I think, disrupting the market in terms of user experience. I personally am testing the Argentex and Starknet, I think, from March this year. And both wallets are providing amazing experience. Argentex has more than 1 million users and downloads. You can use it in your Google Chrome and simply add it as a MetaMask wallet, similar as a MetaMask. At the same time, you can have a mobile version of the wallet that I can say will be more convenient for you in some ways for daily transactions. But if you would like to participate in different activities that Argentex is offering as quests and testing activities, better to have it in your Google Chrome. So first of all, in order to start working with a new ecosystem, you need to have a wallet. That's why I'm mentioning that probably you can consider Argentex or Bravos. Right now, Argentex has around 80% of users and transactions. So the rest is Bravos. And also we know that Starkware Industries, the company that is behind Starknet, supported both wallets and provided a lot of capital, provided a lot of technical support to them. So their strategies are aligned with Starknet. And today, I think Petro provided a lot of great insights regarding the launch of the Starknet token, STRK, I think, in April next year. So we are looking forward to this. The launch was rescheduled. Actually, they plan to launch the token in November this year, but due to some circumstances and personally, I think it's a good decision to work on the adoption and after this move forward with the launch to have a community who will support and probably invest in their token when it will be launched. Also, we can see that both wallets provide great user experience. So you will find different guidance and visualization of your progress when you will be doing different testing activities. I'm very passionate also to discover their ecosystem, and I think testing is the best way to do so. So let me start with one of the official quests that was launched by Starknet. Just give me a second. Do you see my screen right now with a quest, Petro? Starknet
Yes,
quest?
everything is perfect.
Yeah, so there is a website called starknet.quest where you can pass different official quests from the Starknet. To do this, you do not need a lot of things. First of all, you will learn more about the projects, their decentralized application. In this case, it's a focus tree. It's an application that helps people to avoid distraction and have more control on their focus and their attention. So you will find different quests here. You will do some social media activities, and after this you can mint a reward in the form of NFT on Starknet blockchain. Also, there are additional quests where you can also test their DeFi products, for instance. You can find the quest that is expired already. In one of my accounts, I participated and collected all these 4 crystals, and in the end, they offered me to mint an NFT with a crown. It happened just yesterday, I think. Also, you will find different DeFi quests, so you can try their. There is a new quest actually. You can try their DeFi products, do some testing transactions, and after this, also mint NFT as a reward. Also, for majority of the quests, you will need domain name on Starknet. There is a website, I think, Starknet ID or something, Starknet ID, where you can mint your domain name and use it for your wallet. So, for instance, if Petro will be sending some assets to my wallet, he can just put here Ivan 3x and send it. So in this application, you just give me a second. I will share in Starknet ID application. You can select your name if it's available, and mint it for 1 year. You can also create your digital identity here on Starknet ecosystem, and after this, with your domain, with your identity, you will be able to participate in more quests. So, for instance, if I will create a domain name Lego 12 that is available, so I can also put here my email address, and I will pay 0.009 Ethereum for 1 year of this wallet. So it's actually around $20 right now. And after this, you can come back to the quest page, and you will be able to do different other quests in order to be eligible to the future distribution of the token that will happen in April next year. At the same time, in order to discover new products on Starknet ecosystem. So that's it. I just wanted to give you a practical things and tasks that you can do in order to participate on Starknet. Maybe we have some questions from the audience. I will also come back to provide the links. I see that Jiro has a question. How is Starknet fostering its developer community, and what incentives are in place to encourage adoption? I think that they are supporting community from 2 different perspectives. The first one is investment. So they are actively investing. They did more than 20 investments during the past 2 years. And I think everything is just starting there. So they will invest more in their ecosystem. So we can expect support in terms of the funding. Also, they're helping their projects with social media activities and the technical development. For instance, they have opportunity for ambassadors, for contributors to receive also a portion of the rewards in the future. So till the end of, I think, 23rd of November, you can apply to them in their official website in order to become their ambassador, and you should already create some value to them in order to be eligible. So you can contribute by providing a broader access to their ecosystem through your audience. Also, they're offering technical grants. I just recently saw a post from one of our partners that one of their projects received a grant. So I think there are like 3 ways to work with Starknet. At least apply for the grant, apply for the funding, and apply for the ambassadors role. I'm checking the questions. Petro, maybe you see something on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I checked already. We covered everything. I guess the last thing that I wanted to share with you as well, guys, that we will be having our metaverse meeting about Starknet on Tuesday, when we will invite different projects from Starknet ecosystem. So we would like to invite you guys as well. And another thing, if you are building on Starknet, or if you know someone that is building, drop us a message. We will be glad to invite you as a speaker to share your insights on interacting with Starknet ecosystem. And in general, it was my pleasure to sharing my information and insights with you today, and happy to see you. Glad to see you on Tuesday in our metaverse.
Sure. Thank you, Petra, for providing your insights and announcing our metaverse event. We will share more information with you in comments today. So looking forward to see you soon in the metaverse. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, Ivan. Pleasure to host events with you. Looking forward to future events as well.